Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, who is most beneficent and most merciful. My dear students, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Good morning to everyone. I'm here with lecture number 16. It's about unit number 3, that is a poem Try Again. And today we have to discuss the remaining parts of our exercise. And in remaining parts of exercise, part E and F of grammar portion are left, and in English B we have to discuss English translation paragraph number 9. All of you have to open your books on page number 34 and 35. On page number 35, this part is given. Pick out the adjective phrase in each sentence. And before doing this part of exercise, we must discuss that what is an adjective phrase. In my last lecture, we discussed in detail that what is an adjective. Again, I am repeating for you that an adjective is a word that qualifies or that modifies a noun. It gives more information about a noun. If a single word does this action, it is called an adjective. But if a group of words without combination of subject and verb does the action of adjective, it is called an adjective phrase. It means that phrase is a group of words in which there is no subject and no verb. And such group of words that does the action of an adjective, it is called an adjective phrase. The adjective phrase can be placed before or after the noun or pronoun in the sentence. So like an adjective phrase can also appear at following places. First one, it may be appear in the beginning of a sentence before the noun it modifies. And second place of an adjective phrase may be in the middle of a sentence after the pronoun it modifies. And then third place of an adjective, it may appear at the end of the sentence. We will see the example of all these three positions of an adjective phrase in different sentences. In very first example, see, an adjective phrase is appearing at the beginning of a sentence and before a noun. Your lovely excited friend is dancing. Friend is a noun. Which friend? Your lovely excited friend. This group of words is giving us more information about friend, that which friend. So this group of words is called an adjective phrase and it is appearing at the beginning of a sentence. Now in C third one sentence, a guy. Which guy? Smarter than me. A guy smarter than me will solve this puzzle. Now you may see that smarter than me, it is giving us more information about guy. That's why it is an adjective phrase. Secondly, you will see that it is appearing in the middle of a sentence after the noun it is modifying. So this is called an adjective phrase and it is appearing at the middle of the sentence. Now see, in fifth one statement, her behavior was highly rude. Now highly rude, it is information about behavior. Behavior is a noun. So highly rude is an adjective phrase and it is appearing at the end of the sentence. So I told you that an adjective phrase may appear at the beginning of a sentence, as you may see in very first statement, and then in the middle of sentence, as you may see in statement number 3, and then at the end of a sentence, as you may see in statement number 5. After making it clear that what is an adjective phrase, now we have to solve the part of exercise relevant to an adjective phrase. On page number 35, this question is given that pick out the adjective phrase in each sentence. Very first statement is, he bore a banner. Which banner? With a strange device. It is more information about banner. So you will underline with a strange device. This group of words is an adjective phrase. In second statement, the principal, it is a noun. Which principal? Of this school. Of this school is modifying principal, so you will underline of this school. It is an adjective phrase. The principal of this school is on leave. Now see in third statement, the decision of the judges is final. Now of the judges, you will underline this group of word. It is an adjective phrase. In statement number 4, the tops of the mountains were covered with snow. Of the mountains, it is group of word that is functioning as an adjective, so it will be called an adjective phrase. You will underline of the mountains. The tops is a noun. Of the mountains, it is modifying the tops, so it is adding more information, so it will be called an adjective phrase. In fifth and last statement, the runner in the rear did not qualify. Now, which runner? The runner in the rear did not qualify. You will underline in the rear. It is an adjective phrase. Solve this part of exercise on your textbooks with lead pencils. Our next topic is future indefinite tense, and F part, put in will or be going to in these sentences. Now we use will and be going in future indefinite tense. In which cases we have to use will and in which cases we have to use be going to. We have to discuss it. Before attempting this part of exercise, first we will see that how we will fill these blanks. First we will see the use of future simple tense. Future simple has two main usages. First one, expressing a possibility in future, usually with conjunction with an expression of possibility. It shows possibility in future. For example, it will probably rain tonight. ग़ालिबन आज बारिश होगी. It is showing a possibility. There is no evidence. It's not sure. I hope he will pass his test. मुझे उम्मीद है कि वो ये इम्तिहान पास कर लेगा. You are saying that we are talking about possibility in future and we are using here will. Second usage of future simple is making a decision at the time of speaking, not before the time of speaking. When we make any decision at the time of speaking, usually in a dialogue, then we use simple future tense. For example, we say, it's terribly cold in this room. And person B is saying, I'll put the heater on for you. Person B has listened to person A saying this, that it's terribly cold in this room. And person B has made a decision at the time of speaking, not before the time of speaking, that I'll put the heater on for you. So for expression of a possibility in future and for making a decision at the time of speaking, we use will. And when we have to use going to future, expressing something that is certain to happen in future, not just possibility. It is certain that it's going to be happen in future. For example, look at those black clouds. It is going to rain any minute. It means that there is an evidence. It's certain that it is going to rain any minute. Look at those black clouds. It is an evidence. Just we are not talking about possibility. We are giving an evidence that look at those black clouds. It is going to rain any minute. Second usage of going to in future, when we talk about a decision or plan that we have made before the time of speaking, then we will use going to. For example, I am cold. I am going to put the heater on. It is not decision that has made at the time of speaking. It is a decision that has been made before the time of speaking. I am cold. I am going to put the heater on. Now you will see a comparison between the use of will and going to, and I hope so that then you will be more clear about the use of these two helping verbs. Will is used for possibility and going to is used for certainty. Examples are, it will probably rain tonight. There is no evidence. शायद ग़ालिबन आज बारिश होगी. But when we use going to, then there is certainty. Look at those black clouds. We are giving an evidence, and then we are saying that it's going to rain any minute. I hope he will pass his test. Now there is possibility. उम्मीद है कि वो अपना टेस्ट पास करेगा. But in the use of going to see that there is a certainty, there is surety. He has studied really hard. We are giving an evidence that he has studied really hard कि उसने वाकई बहुत ज़्यादा मेहनत की है. He is definitely going to pass his test. वो यकीनन अपना टेस्ट जो वो पास कर लेगा. Now you may see that will is used while you make a decision at the time of speaking. As it is said that it's terribly cold in this room. Person A is saying, and person B, after listening it says, I will put the heater on for you. It is a decision that is made at the time of speaking. But see in use of going to, that it is used in decision made before the time of speaking. For example, a person is saying, I'm cold. He is feeling cold before making this decision, and he has decided it before the time of speaking that I'm going to put the heater on. It is the difference between the use of will and going to. Now we are going to solve this part of exercise that is relevant to use of will and be going to. By keeping in your mind the points that I told you about the use of will and be going to, you have to fill these blanks. It's in form of dialogue. Two persons are there, person A and person B. They are talking with one another. Person A is saying, we don't have any bread. And person B is saying, I know, I'm going to get some from the shop. Person B is not making this decision at the time of speaking. He already knows this, that they don't have any bread. That's why he had made this decision before the time of speaking, that I'm going to get some from the shop. Because it's a decision before the time of speaking, that's why he has used here, I'm going to get some from the shop. Now see, second statement, person A is saying, we don't have any bread. Person B is saying, really? He doesn't know before this. So he is making a decision at the time of speaking because he is instantly informed by this thing that they don't have any bread. He is saying, really? वाकई, I will get some from the shop then. तो मैं फिर shop से ले आऊँगा. Now you may see the comparison between these two statements, that for the decision that is made before the time of speaking, I'm going to is used, and then in second statement for the decision that is making at the time of speaking, we have used will. Now see third statement, person A is saying, why do you need to borrow my suitcase? Person B is saying, I'm going to visit my mother in Multan next month. He has decided it before the time of speaking. He has already a plan. He has decision one thing. He has decided one thing. That's why he is saying, person B is saying, I'm going to visit my mother in Multan next month. There is no just possibility. It is surety. He is borrowing a suitcase. Now there is an evidence that he is borrowing a suitcase. It means that it's sure that he has to go to see his mother. So he is saying, I'm going to visit my mother in Multan next month. Now see, in next one statement, person A is saying, I'm really cold. Now person B, after hearing it, is saying, I will turn the heater on. Person B doesn't know before this, before telling the person A. So after listening to the person A, person B is saying that he will turn the heater on. Now see, in next statement, person A is saying, are you going to Jamshed's wedding tonight? Person B is saying, yes. Are you going to? I will give you a lift. Now here he is making a decision at the time of speaking. That's why he is using will. Yes, are you going to? I will give you a lift. He doesn't know any plan of person A. He is just informed by this fact right now, and he is making a decision instantly that I will give you a lift. In next one statement, person A is saying, are you busy today? Would you like to have coffee? And person B is saying, sorry, I will go to the library. I have been planning to study all day. He is showing his determination. For showing a determination, when you are not going to change your plan, you have determined one thing, then two, you will use will. So person B is saying, sorry, I will go to the library. I have been planning to study all day. Here we have, it is decided before the time of speaking, but here for showing his determination, person B is using will. In last statement, why are you carrying a hammer? Now it is an evidence. Why are you carrying a hammer? कि आपने ये थोड़ी क्यों उठा रखी है? Person B is saying, I am going to put up some pictures. कि मैं कुछ तस्वीरें जो है वो लगाने लगा हूँ. So carrying a hammer is an evidence. There is no possibility that he will put up some pictures. It's sure that he is going to put up some pictures. That's why he has used I'm going to here. Now we will discuss the English translation of paragraph number 9. Before its translation, you have to prepare some English words for translation of this paragraph. Ravana hue, set off. You will use this English word for Ravana hue. वादा किया, promised. मुसीबत के वक्त, time of distress. चढ़ गया, climbed up. लेट गया, laid down. दम साध दिया, held his breath. These words you have to learn before the translation of this paragraph. Now you are watching paragraph number 9 on screen. एक दफ़ा दो दोस्त सफ़र पर रवाना हुए. उन्होंने एक दूसरे से वादा किया कि वो एक दूसरे की मुसीबत में मदद करेंगे. वो एक जंगल में पहुंचे. उन्होंने एक रीछ को अपनी तरफ आते हुए देखा. उनमें से एक भागा और दरख्त पर चढ़ गया. उसका दोस्त दरख्त पर ना चढ़ सका. वो लेट गया और दम साथ लिया. Now the ending of each and every sentence is showing that you have to translate every sentence in past indefinite tense. And you know that for past indefinite tense, the formation method is always subject and then second form of verb. Now by using this formation method, that subject and second form of verb, you will translate all the paragraph and you will do a good practice for it. I hope so that all of you will yourself translate this paragraph and you will prepare this paragraph very well. So today your home task is that you have to prepare all parts of exercise discussed in today's lecture. Your topics were adjective phrase and then use of will and going to be. You have to make these concepts very clear. And then you have to prepare English translation of paragraph number 9. Allah Hafiz, take good care of you.